All right, so we're going to dive back into the studio. I've actually got guests here with me, and we get a chance to talk about compute here at this point. So welcome, guys. Good to have you with us. We'll make the really quick introductions here of Todd Brannon, our Senior Director of Product Marketing for Unified Computing here at Cisco.
Good to see you again.
I'm so glad to have you with us, and I'm going to flash down because we actually changed things up a little bit. But I've got Siva Sivakumar here with us as well.
Pleasure to be here.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? We're going to stay. Oh, sorry. We're figuring it out. Todd, you and I are going to talk to each other for a couple of minutes, so my apologies there on that one. All right, let's talk about what we saw specifically from Liz and Danny here in the keynote. What about these new announcements that we heard? What can we expect in their iTalk? Let's try to sum it up if we possibly can.
Sure. I mean, and they came out and talked to us about a toolkit for modern applications, essentially, right? And when Wendy kicked off the keynote, she was talking about that application experience, right? So we're all competing on experience in some way. Right, whatever product or service we're in the business of, it's how do you create the experience for the customer around that product or service as you deliver it, and it's increasingly being done through applications, right? We know that the average consumer touches 34 apps in a day, right? And the IT teams have a material role in whether or not experience is going to be good or not. So really what we're going to see from Liz and Danny in their iTalk here later on is unpacking this toolkit that we built for IT teams to help assure that experience and also optimize and lower their cost of computing at the same time.
Absolutely. All right, so Steve, let me go ahead and let me toss over to you here on this one. Senior Director of Engineering, Cisco Computing here. When you hear what comes out from the keynote stage, first of all, it gets us all very excited, right? We always love to hear our own capabilities talked about. But let's specifically go into Cisco Insight a little bit. I want to drill down a little bit there. Liz gave a really nice overview of Insight. But in terms of workload optimizer, the integrations that we've done with App Dynamics, which we heard a lot about from Danny, how does this fit into the overall evolution of what we're seeing here in Insight and Cisco's primary focus?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we built Insight, we truly wanted to create a revolutionary management platform that is absolutely a single pane of glass for the entire life cycle of both the infrastructure and things that are deployed and running on top of the infrastructure. This is a very unique experience. This is a very unique way of bringing this capability or this service, if you will, into the data center. And when we did the infrastructure modernization with Cisco Insight, the evolution was very much what we thought about, which is bring in compute, UCS, HyperFlex, and other capabilities, but expand much more above and beyond that by bringing in other heterogeneous infrastructure, whether it is networking, whether it is storage and other capabilities. Then we lay it on top. How can I bring OS, hypervisor experiences on top? But what you saw today was a super exciting capability, which is looking at much more of insight into the application that drills all the way back into the infrastructure. The ability to give you insight all the way from the infrastructure, all the way to the app layer, looking at specific implementations and looking at specific areas where you can optimize and improve your experience, not just performance, but your overall experience, is truly the vision of Insight. We are extremely excited from the engineering standpoint to see some of these vision actually start to be in customers' hands and get the feedback from them that they are absolutely delighted to use these capabilities.
It's so good to be able to finally see this on a full drill down picture, right? When we look at the big image, we used to look at this incrementally. Now, we are going everywhere from the app down into the infrastructure stack to be able to solve those problems quickly. How do we tell this story to our customers in a way that they will understand and embrace?
Sure. I think it's about breaking down silos, right, and the tooling and the teams themselves, because we've grown up as an industry and really created different functional silos in IT in many cases. And so we've gotten to the point now where, whereas these application experiences are so critical to the business, you've got teams that are focused on the application, all those interdependencies, and they're looking at the world through one lens, one set of data and tooling. But then you have the people that run all this infrastructure that actually powers these apps, either on-prem or in the cloud, and they have their own tooling, and they're looking at the world kind of as stacks, all right, of infrastructure. And so what we can do for our customers now is give them a common view, a common source of truth, by correlating all of this telemetry, right, both across the application tier, and then what's going on in all those different pieces of infrastructure powering that application. So when we can bring that view together and help them work better together, it's really just helping them with a new kind of closed loop operating model for how they support these apps.
It's so exciting. Guys, do me a favor, stay with me. We're actually going to go out onto the WOZ show floor and we're going to go into the compute booth, but I want to come back and have a bit more of a conversation. Right now, oh good, I look down in the monitor, there's my pal David Dela Cruz, and you're out there with Eugene Kim right now, right David?
Yeah, hi Steve, thanks for that. I'm standing in the World of Solutions in the data center section, and I'm here with Eugene Kim and Vijay Venugopal, that's right. Hi guys, thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Thanks. Awesome, so we've obviously heard a little bit about data center this morning, and we're going to be hearing more shortly from Liz Centoni. So Eugene, just a quick question, can you tell us about Hyperflex and the new announcements that we heard in the keynote this morning?
Yeah, sure. So as you heard from David today and Liz, right now it is a hybrid and multi-cloud world, and our customers are currently going through a lot of application modernization. So today we had new announcements around the Hyperflex application platform, which is helping our customers provide a container-based Kubernetes platform to run on-premise to enable their development and their application modernization. And that is all built on the simplification and the simplified hyperconverged system Hyperflex, which combines compute, storage, and networking all into one.
Awesome, and from your perspective, what does that mean for a customer? Like what kind of benefits do they actually see from that?
So currently we have over 65,000 UCS and Hyperflex customers, and as we've been talking to them, they talked about some distinctive themes as they've been modernizing their applications. And as they're looking at a containerized platform on-premise for this, there's three things that they're looking at. They want something that's very turnkey and simple. They want something that's very agile, meaning it's very friendly, it works, and it offers capabilities that works at the speed of their applications for their developers. And lastly is being very economic. So this is what Hyperflex application platform is delivering for our customers.
Absolutely. Awesome, so maybe changing a little bit onto more of a technical side, and I understand, Vijay, that you're more of the technical side of this pairing, I guess. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Hyperflex application platform, how it was architected, how it was built up, and what to expect from it, I guess?
So like Eugene said, the Hyperflex application platform is the attempt to deliver a container as a service platform, an out-of-the-box turnkey container as a service platform for IT teams to offer a turnkey experience to the developers. Now the core architecture of the Hyperflex application platform is we've built this on a native Kubernetes platform that's integrated with the Hyperflex compute and storage cluster. And the entire application platform is managed from the cloud by Intersight. So now with Intersight, you can manage not just the physical infrastructure, but you can manage the clustering, and more importantly, you can do container management or cluster management directly from Intersight. So for the first time, we're building in container management from the cloud, from Intersight, so giving IT teams the ability to deliver a complete out-of-the-box turnkey container experience that enables DevOps.
Absolutely, that's really exciting. And you mentioned containers and application experience, obviously big trends. What would you say, from your perspective, the big trends for customers to watch out for in 2020?
I'd say the most important trend that we see in terms of application design is the adoption of microservice architectures. And microservice architectures just require a lot of complexity to build the software. So our goal is to simplify that experience by creating a full stack platform that just makes it easy to deploy, manage, monitor, productionize container applications.
Awesome, thank you. And we're obviously down here in the data center stand. What can customers see when they come down here? What kind of conversations are they able to have?
So we made two announcements this morning. We made the announcement of the Hyperflex application platform, so they can come right here and see the demo of the Hyperflex application platform. It will be available for early access in a couple of months, but you can see live demos of the HXAP platform right here. We also made the announcement about the Intersight Workload Optimizer, which is a brand new hybrid cloud workload optimization solution that's just around the corner on the other side. But you can see demos of all the products we announced. You can see that right here at the data center booth.
Perfect. Vijay, Eugene, thanks so much for your time. I think we're heading back to the studio, and Steve is going to be taking over from here.
We are indeed. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it. And thank you, Eugene, as well. Again, for those of you who are here on the show floor, if you happen to be streaming it, head over into the World of Solutions. And for those of you watching online, I promise you're not going to miss out on a moment. Yeah, we are back live here in the studio with our own Todd Brannon and Siva Kumar. And this time, we finally have somebody in the studio with us who's actually putting it into good use. I want to introduce James Borman, IT Director at Dura Diamond Healthcare. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Pretty exciting stuff being here, right, at the event?
Absolutely.
You can talk about it all day and night, but until you're actually here feeling it live for yourself, the energy.
the energy, the innovation, it just prevails. It's prevalent. Every room, every hall, every booth. It's fantastic.
It really is fantastic. But again, thank you for being here, and this is great because we really want your perspective on the experience, your expertise utilizing Cisco data center capabilities. And I want to start out by some of the challenges that Liz and Danny framed in the keynote here this morning, right? If we look at the operational silos that we often see between different application teams and infrastructure teams, you're a practitioner yourself. What have you seen regarding this dynamic and how it is playing out in the organizations you've been part of, the impact in taking those silos and finally getting people where they need to be?
I think I've worked in 3 IT organizations where those particular challenges have been extremely prevalent. That's mainly due to having desperate tooling, desperate operating models around application stacks, around infrastructure stacks, and also the network element as well. And root cause analysis can be extremely difficult and problematic, because effectively you're passing the monkey between those 3 different teams, and what you want is a standard tool set that gives you visibility into each of those distinct areas and also where they interact. And I believe that's what you've done today in terms of the HX AP announcement.
Absolutely. As far as the Intersite piece, if we just hone in on that for just a moment, how do you see that really fitting into your strategy of simplifying operations, streamlining?
So effectively in IT operations, what you're looking for is a rationalization of infrastructure footprint and also tooling to support that. So what we have today is effectively Intersite, a SaaS-based product, and then effectively we've SaaSified CWAM, an industry-leading workload optimization solution. And probably the way to think about this is that CWAM is giving you the ability to create what you would term kind of cloud tierings for your applications and services, but bringing that on-prem to your private cloud infrastructure.
Let me go back over here to you guys. In terms of our partnership, what we're seeing at Duradiamond Healthcare, and how it is that what we are offering is really playing out in their field, are you using this as a great customer success story and a way to show people what's possible, what's taking place, Todd?
Absolutely. I mean, the name of the game for us, our North Star in our computing business at Cisco, has always been simplification. Right, so we took all the systems management complexity out of the individual components themselves with UCS. We moved it from the devices into the network, and then about 2 years ago with Intersite, we've taken that control plane from the infrastructure to the cloud. Right, and so especially as you get a younger generation of IT operators coming into the data center, they expect things to be very intuitive, easy to operate, and they expect to manage things from the cloud. So this is really an advancement of that strategy, and it plays out in terms of just taking a lot of the day-to-day drudgery off of our customers' shoulders.
Absolutely. Steve, I want to get your perspective on this as well.
No, absolutely. I think one of the key things about this innovation is also we are actually singing from the same sheet of music or the same source of data, which is actually one of the big challenges in the industry. There are so many tools, each of them have their own version of the source of the data, and that means they make their own decisions that can be actually conflicting. In this model of bringing in the optimizer inside Intersite, we are integrating the data collected once, but having multiple ways of visualizing and drilling down into the data, which is actually extremely insightful where the customers are going. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we are solving as part of this next wave of innovation.
Fantastic. Siva, Todd, and especially James, thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate it. We're going to continue the Cisco Intersite story with a really quick video. Enjoy this. We'll see you back in just over a minute. The Cisco Intersight story is so strong, so powerful, and it's such a large part of an incredibly expansive ability. All the depth and breadth that we bring here at Cisco really makes our service offering incredibly unique. We always talk about the Cisco platform. The platform is enormous. You heard about it this morning in the keynote. You're going to hear about it all week long, not only here on the broadcast, but throughout all of our different innovation talks that are coming up throughout the day. There are 5 innovation talks. We're going to kick off the first one in just a couple of minutes. We're going to go back to Liz Centoni and Danny Winokur, and this time they are going to talk to us about how we can empower your IT teams to deliver in this hybrid application world. One of the things you heard from Dave Geckler this morning is that part of expanding our abilities in our applications means that, yes, we can now tie together so many more capabilities than ever before. We make it a lot easier to jump between those applications, allow them to understand, speak to one another in an IoT sense, in an IoE sense, and really be able to become more comprehensive as an organization. That empowers you. That allows you to become more agile, more responsive to your customers. However, it also, of course, expands and broadens the security landscape in terms of your risk and making sure that we make security a native part of everything that we do within those applications. And again, we heard about it a bit this morning in the keynote as well. What is the issue with optimizing for the cloud? We all want to make the move into the hybrid cloud environment. It gives us a lot of freedom, it gives us a lot of flexibility, and again, a lot of power and a lot of accessibility, any mobile capability, anywhere we happen to be, whatever app we want to connect to. But how do you keep control of it all? We heard about Workload Optimizer being a big part of that. Liz helped drill down a little bit into that, but it's all about making sure that your entire IT team has the access that they need wherever they need to go. And again, we're going to move to that innovation talk in just a minute. We will follow that up throughout the day with 4 additional innovation talks. We'll keep introducing them as we go, but for example, coming up at noon, we'll talk about how we can secure IoT in order to gain a competitive advantage. Who of us doesn't want to make that happen? Again, 12 o'clock today, make sure you're in on the broadcast. You'll hear about that. Again, from Liz Centoni. Then, we've got our very own Susie Wee. We're standing right back in front of the DevNet territory here. Susie has been amazing and really integral to the organization for so many years with regards to DevNet. We'll have her here on the live stream, in her innovation talk, 2 o'clock time here in Spain, to talk about accelerating success through certifications and automation within the new network. Speaking of which, new certifications being released from Cisco here on February 24th. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. At 2:45, back with Danny Winokur on the user experience, application visibility, business insights, more AppD, and then at 4:30, our own Ash Devada talking about making security easier and refining that grind. But once again, we're going to head out to the innovation talk right now with Liz Centoni and Danny Winokur. Enjoy, and we'll see you back here as soon as they're done.